Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the show. Today, however, even though it is Monday, and we're going to have Monday Night Raw, and I just got the plans for Monday Night Raw, we're going to talk about the NFL, because there was games this weekend, and it was glorious. First of all, Thursday night, Giants, Patriots, in Gillette Stadium, Bill Belichick coaching. Who's the offensive coordinator going to be? We don't know. It was a 23-21 final. The Giants got a win. All right, congrats to the Giants. For the Giants, their quarterbacks that played: Tyrod Taylor, 13 for 21, 129 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Davis Webb, 8 for 16, 51 passing yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Daniel Jones, 6 for 10, 69 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. I will say this. I watched Daniel Jones' performance, and I've watched the tape, and I've actually watched and paid attention to every aspect of that tape. I was very impressed with how Daniel Jones handled himself in this game. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is great, because he's not. He is below average at best. But I think that under the coaching that he's going to receive, Daniel Jones has a chance to make some strides this year. This is a contract year for him, so he's definitely going to need it. Now, the Patriots. Mac Jones didn't play, doesn't need to play. He is the starter, okay? But Bailey Zapp, 19 for 32, 205 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And Brian Hoyer, 5 for 8, 59 yards, and 1 touchdown. The Patriots offense looked really... How do I say this nicely without being a jerk to the Patriots? Who, by the way, I can't stand. I can't stand the Patriots. I like Mac Jones. Can't stand the rest of the Patriots. They look sloppy on offense. I mean, I hope that when Mac Jones comes, and starts and, the regular season, that they're going to be good. But I don't know. They looked really sloppy, but hey, it's just preseason. So they'll probably figure it out. Bill Belichick is the GOAT of coaches. So, now, we go into this. A deeper conversation. And here we go. The other game on there was Titans-Ravens. I watched the Titans-Ravens game all the way through. I was very impressed with Malik Willis. Yes, they lost the game. The Titans lost. It was a 23-10 final. But I was impressed with Malik Willis. And I wanted to watch that game specifically because of Malik. Malik went 6 for 11, 107 passing yards, no passing touchdowns, and no interceptions. However, Malik Willis had 5 carries for 38 yards, averaged 7.6 yards a carry, and had 1 rushing touchdown. Logan Woodside went 14 for 24, 102 passing yards, no touchdowns, but he had 2 interceptions. On the Ravens side, Lamar Jackson did not play, but Tyler Huntley said, "Hey, I got it. I'll play." He went 16 for 18, 109 passing yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Anthony Brown went 10 for 15, 117 passing yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Brett Hundley went 2 for 2, 42 passing yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. But again, Lamar didn't play, but the Ravens still won because it's 23-10. And every preseason, the Ravens look really good. And then they get in the regular season and move a lot of crap. So, hey, hopefully that's not the case this year. Hopefully they'll be able to carry that momentum into the regular season. Because right now that division is ripe for picking. I'm just saying. Now, the next game on the list of games that we have to go over because it was awesome. The Falcons and Lions. MCDC. Yes, if you didn't know that, it stands for Motor City Dan Campbell. Okay. The Falcons played both of their quarterbacks competing for the starting job. Desmond Ridder went 10 for 22, 103 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Marcus Mariota, 2 passes, 2 completions, 36 yards, no touchdowns. However, Desmond Ridder ran for 6 carries, 59 yards, averaging 9.8 yards a carry, and no touchdowns. Marcus Mariota, 3 carries, 23 yards, 7.7 yards a carry, 1 touchdown. Ritter got the majority of the game, but Mariota did. He had a perfect passer rating. Completion percentage was perfect. For the Lions, all 3 quarterbacks played. Jared Goff got the start. He went 3 for 4, 47 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. David Blau went 18 for 28, 141 passing yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Tim Boyle, 9 for 16, 111 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He looked good. He really did. Tim Boyle looked good. Jared Goff looked good. That defense dominated. I'm going to read y'all because I want to read it. Aiden Hutchinson. That man had 2 tackles. He did not have a sack and he didn't have a pick, but he had 2 massive tackles. He looked pretty good in his preseason debut. However, the Falcons did win the game 27-23. But let's get into this one. This was the game that I wanted to see. My Seattle Seahawks. It's a new era in Seattle. We don't know who the quarterback is. Against the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's a new era for them too. They don't know who their quarterback is. But let's go through the quarterback battle. First of all, Pittsburgh won the game 32-25, and I'm not even mad about it. I'm really not, because I was so impressed and just pleased that we looked presentable. Drew Lock, 11 for 15, 102 passing yards, 2 tutties, 2 touchdowns. He played the entire second half. Yes, he played with the backups, and Geno got the entire first half with the starters. But reports coming out after that game is Drew Lock might have a leg up now in the quarterback competition. I want to say this about Geno Smith. I got no problem with Geno. I just don't want him starting for Seattle. I would rather have Drew Lock if I have a choice, because Drew has started a full season. Yes, he was in Denver, and yeah, they didn't have a good coaching staff, and yes, we sent Russell Wilson to Denver, but Drew Lock, I've got faith in you, man. I really do, and I'm really hoping that you get the starting job and that, we can compete. I'm not saying playoffs. I'm not saying Super Bowl. I know that's not going to happen. But hopefully we can compete. Anyway, let's go to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are in the midst of their own quarterback battle. Kenny Pickett played the entirety of the second half. He went 13 for 15, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mason Rudolph, 9 for 15, 93 yards, and a touchdown. Mitchell Trubisky had 1 drive with the starters. He went 4 for 7, 63 yards, and a touchdown. George Pickens balled out. Okay? George Pickens had 3 catches, 43 yards, and a touchdown. That touchdown came from the hands of Mason Rudolph. But George Pickens looked really good, guys. I'm here to tell you, he looked really good. Now, we got to get into this game, and I don't want to. Denver won their game 17-7. No, Dak Prescott did not play for the Dallas Cowboys. And obviously, let Russ cook. Russ didn't play for Denver. But, in the middle of the Seahawks versus Steelers game, a game that was actually good, a game that truly I thought would matter, because both teams are in the midst of a quarterback controversy of who their freaking starter is going to be. NFL Network, you switch to Denver versus Dallas. Listen, if this was regular season and Dak Prescott and Russell Wilson were playing for their respective teams, and every starter for both teams were playing, I understand the switch. But it's the preseason, and it's a game that actually matters for Seattle and for Pittsburgh, because they're trying to figure out who their starter will be. And it was actually a good football game and you switch to Dallas versus Denver. Now, I got to finish watching Seattle because I have NFL Plus, and guess what? I pulled it up on my laptop. And I said, you know what? I'm going to finish watching this game because this game is what I thought would matter, and it did. Game winning drive by Kenny Pickett. A lot of people didn't get to see the GOAT, Kenny Pickett. Yes, I called him the GOAT. I think he's going to be the starter. He played really well. I'm not saying week 1 starter, but I think before the season's over with, Kenny Pickett started for Pitt. Now, Cooper Rush. 12 for 20, 84 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. I have a question. Who is Cooper Rush? I honestly don't know who that is. But, beside the point. Okay. Ben DiNucci also played. DiNucci? DiNucci? Okay. 9 for 16, 112 yards, and 1 touchdown. No picks. That was the only touchdown the Cowboys scored the entire game. They had, I'm pretty sure they had like 17 or 18 penalties on them in the preseason. Now, Josh Johnson, 16 for 23, 172 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions for Denver. Brett Rippon, I don't know his last name. 8 for 18, 113 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. And I'm like 95% sure none of the starters actually played. Yeah. Nobody that's going to start for either team actually played. So, I'm just saying, like, I don't understand it. I don't get it. I mean, you switch off of a great game with Seattle and Pittsburgh that actually matters, and you gave us Denver. Okay. Because that will make fans happy, and that makes sense, right? Yeah. Okay. But, let's get into a different game. So this was an interesting game, and I was very intrigued in this game. Panthers, Commanders. I watched the full game all the way through. 23-21 was the final. The Panthers won the game. But I want to make a note of this. Baker Mayfield started the game for Carolina. He went 4 for 7, 45 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions on his drive. Phillip Walker had the most amount of snaps out of all the quarterbacks. He went 10 for 19, 136 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions on him in his game. Sam Darnold played the second drive, 2 for 3, 16 yards, 1 touchdown. No picks. Matt Corral, 1 for 9, 11 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Matt Corral is fighting for a spot on the roster when you read that stat line. 1 for 9 against backups? And you can't do 1 for 9, dude. That's bad. Like, really bad. 1 for 9. The dude couldn't even complete 2 passes. You're fighting for... It's official. Matt Corral, you're fighting for a spot on this roster. You're not the number 1 guy. You're not even the second string. You're not even third string. You're the 4th string quarterback fighting for a spot on the roster right now in training camp. You better get your act together because 1 for 9? Dude, that's unacceptable. And I know it's a preseason game, but that's unacceptable. Now, I want to give a little bit of a shout out, okay, to a guy from my hometown that is playing in the NFL. Spencer Brown, the running back for the Carolina Panthers. He's not the starter, but he had 10 carries, 36 yards, averaged 3.6 yards a carry, and had 1 rushing touchdown. Congratulations to Spencer Brown getting some playing time in the preseason. Hopefully, you'll get some playing time in the regular season. If Christian McCaffrey can't stay healthy, then you and Chuba Hubbard, hey man, split the reps. Let's go. But 10 carries, 36 yards, 3.6 yards averaged, 1 touchdown for Spencer Brown. I had to give a little shout out there to him. Now, Carson Wentz. 10 for 13, 74 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Sam Howell, 9 for 16, 145 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. This is the Commanders' quarterbacks. Taylor Heineke, 4 for 9, 21 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Now, another little shout out. I got to give it to him. Did y'all see Brian Robinson Jr.? Did y'all see him? Did y'all see him? Six carries, 26 yards, averaged 4.3 yards a carry, had one touchdown. He came from Alabama, from the Nick Saban tree of running backs of greatness, where you have Derrick Henry in that same category, Damian Harris in that category. Now, Brian Robinson Jr. fighting for a starting position. He might actually become the starting back. He really might. Him and Antonio Gibson, that's going to be tough. Oh, also receiving, he had 2 catches, 15 yards, average 7.5 yards a catch. So I'm just saying, you know. You see what I'm picking up here? You picking up what I'm putting down here? I'm just saying, Brian Robinson Jr., a dude. I'm just saying. But that'll be all I go over for week 1 of the NFL. We will be back here next Monday. This is preseason, of course. We'll be back here next Monday to break down preseason week 2. That includes my Seahawks playing the Chicago Bears. Oh, and also, guys, speedy recovery wishes go out to Zach Wilson, who tore his, in fact, let me look it up so I don't construe this thing. Let me see here. Okay. Zach Wilson out for 2 to 4 weeks after suffering a bone bruise and meniscus tear in his right knee. And he is set to miss 2 to 4 weeks. He'll have a scope surgery. Hopefully he will be ready to come back in the regular season and ball out. Alright, dude's a stud. And I believe he'll be good to go. Hopefully. But yeah, well wishes to Zach Wilson, who got hurt on a non-contact injury, similar to Odell Beckham Jr. So hopefully he comes back healthy, better than ever. Now, I'm not gonna do this all the time, but I gotta do it. I gotta do it. So college football posted their AP college football rankings, and I just gotta do it. I have to. I gotta read the top 25. I got to. Okay, I have to. Number 1, Alabama. Why, you may ask? Greatest college football coach of all time coaches at Alabama, Nick Saban. The second greatest, and to many people, he is the greatest, but the second greatest coach of all time also coached at Alabama. His name was Paul Bear Bryant. So Alabama's the number 1 seed with Bryce Young and Will Anderson Jr. Okay. Oh, and by the way, they have a slew of weapons who will dominate this year. And it's going to be painful to watch because I'm an Auburn fan. So if I'm speaking nice about Alabama, you know I'm being serious. I'm not being I'm not biased towards Alabama at all. I don't like Alabama. But that's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Georgia. In my opinion, you swapped them. Georgia did win the national championship. I understand they lost their defense. They also lost a lot of pieces on their offense, including George Pickens. But, I mean, come on. Swap them. Georgia, Bama, 1-2. Okay. Number 4 is Clemson. I actually think that's a little high. DJ Uiagalelei, whatever his... The quarterback at Clemson did not do great last year. Hopefully he does better. I'm rooting for him this year. Hope he does better. Dabo Swinney, obviously a great coach. But I think that's a little bit high to have Clemson. Notre Dame. Do we know who Notre Dame's quarterback is? Or who anybody on their team is? I personally don't. I don't follow Notre Dame. But they're number 5. Number 6, Texas A&M. I'm not gonna. I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna get into that. No. Number 7 is Utah. I don't know who plays for Utah, so I can't judge. Number 8 is Michigan. They did lose Aiden Hutchinson, but I believe they still have their quarterback from last year. They should be good. Number 9 is Oklahoma. They lost their head coach and both of their quarterbacks, by the way. So it's a little confusing seeing them at number 1, at number 9, but hey, it's okay. Number 10 is Baylor. Baylor always has a pretty fast scoring offense, so okay. Number 11 is Oregon. They've got my quarterback. If y'all didn't know, Bo Nix left Auburn, went to Oregon. I'm rooting for you, Bo. I really am. Hope you do well. You're the only person I know from that team. But hey, hope you do well. Oklahoma State, number 12 seed. Number 13, North Carolina State. Number 14, USC. They, of course, have Lincoln Riley. And that one of the quarterbacks from Oklahoma came over there. So, okay. Number 15, Michigan State. Number 16, Miami. Number 17, Pittsburgh. Number 18, Wisconsin. Number 19, Arkansas. Number 20, Kentucky. Number 21, Ole Miss. Number 22, Wake Forest. Number 23, Cincinnati. Number 24, Houston. And number 25, BYU. Now, I like the list. I'm cool with the list. Obviously, the Auburn Tigers are not in there. I don't blame the AP for not doing that. We were not great last year, and we don't even know who our quarterback is this year. Although I'm assuming it's going to be Zach Calzada, because I think he's the better of the two quarterbacks between him and Finley. But, But yeah, that's the top 25. And then I just went over some NFL stuff. Oh, by the way, I love when you click on the link for Bleacher Report, the picture they show is Will Anderson Jr. This guy is a dog. He's a great player. He is going to be pounding and beating up on people. I mean, this dude is out for revenge this year. He was very upset after the Alabama loss in the national championship. But this guy is a stud. He is a dominator. He is going to handle his business this year. Will Anderson Jr. That's right. But that's all I got today for football, guys. I'll be back tomorrow, not for football, but for wrestling, because NXT Heatwave is happening tomorrow. So I'll be back tomorrow night with that, my thoughts on that show and how the matches go. Let me see if I can pull up the match card, and I'll just go over the matches here. I know this is college football, but go ahead and get it out of the way. So, let's get into it. First of all, the cover for the poster is Braun Breaker and Mandy Rose. I like Mandy Rose a lot. Like a lot. She's very talented. Braun Breaker versus J.D. McDonough for the NXT Championship. Mandy Rose versus Zoe Stark for the NXT Women's Championship. Roxanne Perez versus Cora Jade. Just a rivalry match. Obviously, Cora turned heel. I like Cora's heel turn. Giovanni Vinci, I think. I know his first name is Giovanni. I think it's Vinci. Versus Carmelo Hayes for the NXT North American Championship. I'm looking forward to that. Santos Escobar versus Tony D'Angelo in a street fight. Now, here's what's interesting about that. Santos Escobar, if he loses, leaves NXT without Legado Fantasma. Now, I think it's time for Santos to be called up to the main roster. But I also think, you know what? It might be time for Legado Fantasma to be called up as a group. But if he wins, Legado Fantasma is free from the D'Angelo family. The Don of NXT, Tony D'Angelo. Anyway, that was just a little quick thing about wrestling. That was just the match card. I just want to put that in there. But we covered football, NFL, and college. I can't wait till regular season for both sports start. That is going to be a fun time. And, bye guys. Again, thank you guys for listening, watching, viewing, subscribing, however you watch. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Spotify. Thank you guys so much, and bye.